Hello, I am author Natasha Frazier, and today I am going to be reading an excerpt from my latest book, With Every Breath, which is book one in my new series, the McCall Family Series. And this story is about a woman who's been given 30 days to live. And so she decides that she's going to right some wrongs. And one of those is reaching out to her college sweetheart to let him know that she's always loved him. And so I'm going to read an excerpt picking up at the point where Nina decides she's going to go see him because she is the commencement speaker at Jackson State University's commencement exercises. And so she goes early so that she can get a chance to talk to Andrew. Nina had been one of the first 5 people to board the aircraft when the airline attendant called for her boarding group. After going through the customary motions of stuffing her bag in the overhead bin and securing her seatbelt, logic and concern reared their heads. What on earth am I doing? Maybe I should try calling Andrew first. Will he think I'm crazy? Whether her actions were completely irrational, it didn't matter now. She'd secured herself in the window seat, and the plane was leaving for Jackson, Mississippi, whether she wanted it to happen or not. Nor did it matter if Andrew wanted to see her. She'd make him listen. She didn't plan to play the near-death card, but she'd keep it in her back pocket and use it if she had to. After the plane was completely boarded with passengers and sailing down the runway, she had to ask herself what she hoped to gain by doing this, since the next few weeks had been declared the end for her. Wouldn't going to see him just turn his life upside down? That, she convinced herself, wasn't true. The truth was that he needed closure too, and to know that she'd always loved him though she failed at knowing how to show him. Nina declined the pretzels offered by the flight attendant and stuffed her headphones in her ears so the stranger to her left wouldn't engage her in conversation. All she wanted to do was imagine that Andrew would be excited to see her, throw his arms around her, and admit he'd also been a fool in allowing their relationship to end. But that was wishful thinking on her part. Perhaps she was closer to death than the doctors thought because Andrew had been furious with her when they split. Her stomach twisted in triple knots at the memory. An hour later, the plane landed in Jackson and the passengers deboarded, some of them with Christmas gifts in tow. A smile spread across her face at the thought of Andrew waiting for her at baggage claim. Again, more delusions. But when she arrived in the baggage claim area and saw a man that resembled him, she nearly tripped. Get it together, girl. The man doesn't even know you're here. Nina couldn't feed into her own craziness another moment. Instead of going to check in at her hotel, she rented a car and drove straight to Jackson State University. She parked across the street from the main campus at the Athletic Assembly Center and walked to the College of Education, where she knew she'd find his office. The walk through the plaza reminded her of her old college days. Days when she and Andrew strolled through campus hand in hand. Days when she party walked mid-afternoon with her sorority sisters. And days when she could smell the aroma of her favorite entree wafting from the caf. Though almost everything had changed, this was still her dear old college home, the place where she'd grown up. It taught her independence and introduced her to the love of her life. And in turn, she walked away from him like life would offer her another opportunity to love again. It didn't. Nina took a deep breath and pulled open the door to the College of Education, where she was greeted by an 8-foot Christmas tree in the foyer. She'd only been inside a few times when meeting Andrew after class, and she couldn't remember a thing because everything had changed. The building had received a complete upgrade. A warmth of satisfaction spread through her at the thought of her alumni dollars being put to good use. Nina followed signage to the hall of instructor offices. Andrew's door had been the second to the right, and she marched down the hall and stopped. Light shined into the hallway from his open door, and a sudden onset of dizziness came over her. She stumbled over to the wall and rested her head against the cold surface until the spinning subsided. Nina inhaled and exhaled once. I can do this. I didn't come all this way just to give a speech. Nina took another calming breath. We've got unfinished business. So what, it's been nearly 2 decades. One more calming breath, and she stood, squared her shoulders, moved to the open door, and tapped twice. Help me, Lord. Come in. How had she forgotten the smoothness of his tenor voice? She could have melted on the spot when he looked up from his laptop and his almond eyes took hold of hers, laced with a softness she probably didn't deserve from him. He was happy to see her. She gripped the doorknob to steady herself. Too bad there was nothing to steady the flip-flop going on with the rapid pacing of her heart. His features hadn't changed much, but it was apparent he'd aged. His physical maturity served him well. The light stubble under his chin, the dark, cleanly shaven mustache, his strong jawline set against the canvas of his mahogany skin. If she had to die soon, she knew right then that she wanted to spend her last days with him. That is my excerpt for With Every Breath, Book 1 in the McCall Family Series, now available in ebook on Amazon, online, wherever books are sold, and autographed copies can be purchased from our website, natashafrazier.com.